Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. So through this video series, I'm hoping to cover your O-Level Commerce or Business and Accounting Studies subject in English medium. Today I will be discussing Grade 10, Lesson 1, which is Background of Businesses. This video will cover part 1 of the first lesson. So let's get started. So I have break down this lesson into 7 main topics. Those are consumer needs and wants, business concept, business objectives, goods and services, factors of production, stakeholders of business, objectives and contributions of stakeholders. So if you have a better understanding of these 7 parts, and if you are thorough with this, you don't have any reason to worry about your lesson 1. But in this video, I will be discussing the first 4 topics under this. Okay, now we'll see what are consumer needs and wants. Needs, the requirements that must be fulfilled essentially for the existence are known as human needs. So here I have highlighted the word essentially. So it is the most important part of this definition. So let me explain to you this by using an example. Like if we take food and water. Yes, you may be able to survive 3-4 days without food and water. But you are not able to survive any longer without fulfilling your need for food and water. You may die. And so do the clothing. You may be able to stay inside your home without clothing, but you can't go to the society. You can't fulfill your other basic needs if you don't have clothes. You can't go naked in streets and all, no. Like that. Also shelter. It is also a basic human need because you don't need 2-story, 3-story houses. You don't need hotels. You should at least have a small place as a shelter to be protected from animals, from other disasters. You should have a shelter. So these are considered as the basic human needs. And also with the development of the human society, there have been several other needs which have been developed. Like for example, if we take education, health, security, transportation, communication, and also entertainment. These have been developed over the time. So this is the simple definition. This is the simple idea of what is a human need. So when talking about this, what is a need, we can see several characteristics of these needs. So if we see this thoroughly, we can understand there are 4 basic characteristics of needs. So we'll see what are these characteristics. The first one is being essential, which means it is essential to fulfill the needs for existence. Like I have explained you earlier, for example, if we take food. For your survival, you need to have food. Like if you lack food for if we think for a week, you may die. So these needs are very essential. Being common. Needs are common to every individual. For each and every person in this society, they have common needs. They have the need of hunger. They need food. They need clothing. They need shelter. They need a place to stay. So these are common to each and every individual, whether they are male, female, or whether they are rich or poor. These are common. Cannot be created. Needs will arise naturally and hence cannot be created by businessmen. What does this mean? Needs are things which are coming from within the individuals. Not the businessmen, not the advertisements they post. Those cannot create needs. The needs are the mentally creating things of people. So if we take food, the hunger is created within the individuals. No any businessman can create the need for hunger within people. So that, what does that mean? And the last one is being limited. Needs are relatively very low in number. Like I said earlier, there are few basic needs. There are several needs which were created with the development, but like there are the basic needs are very low in number. So these are the basic characteristics of needs. And then we'll see about wants. Wants are the different ways of satisfying needs. So earlier I talked about needs. So wants are the ways we are satisfying or we are fulfilling our needs. So for example, if we take the need of food, so how can we satisfy or fulfill our need for food? We can have rice, we can eat hoppers, we can eat noodles. Each and every person's wants are different. There are hundreds of thousands of ways of fulfilling our needs. So those ways are known as wants. So if we take clothes, someone can wear a sari, someone can wear a shirt, one person can wear a frock. Those are the ways we are fulfilling the need for clothing. So this is what simply means by a want. Okay, so similar to the characteristics of needs, there are several characteristics of wants as well. The first one is not essential. For existence, it is not essential to fulfill a want, as that need could be satisfied by another similar want instead. What does this mean? So, we said the needs are very essential for our survival. But if we consider wants, those are not essential. That means, for example, if we take the need for food, there are thousands of ways we can fulfill our need for food. One can have rice, one can have noodles, someone can have pizza, someone can have pasta, someone can have burgers. So there are different ways we can fulfill one need. No one can say you should have rice to fulfill your need for food. You should only wear a sari to fulfill your need of clothing. We can't say like that. There are different options available to people. So the wants are considered not essential. And the second one is being diverse. So like I said earlier, needs are common to each and every individual. Everyone should fulfill the need for food, the need for clothing, the need for shelter. But the way they are satisfying these needs may differ depending on their socio-economic condition. That means, for example, if we consider a very rich person, and if we consider his need for shelter, he may be living in a very large mansion. He may be having a 2-story house, a 3-story house, and so on. But if we consider a poor person, he may be living in a very poor condition cottage. He may be in a clay house. So, based on the socio-economic conditions, based on their nature, the way people are satisfying or fulfilling their needs are different. That what means by being diverse. The third one is can be created. Businessmen can create wants. What does that mean? Like for example, I'm taking the same example, food. Like we Asians, we Sri Lankans, we are usually having rice on a daily basis, or we could be having hoppers, we could be having bread, like that. Those are the ways we are fulfilling our need for food, usually. But like when we are watching TV, we see many advertisements regarding food. For example, if we take a KFC advertisements, you on a very tiring day, you see these advertisements of a nice and mouth-watering chicken burger. So you want to have this. So you make an order. So that is how businessmen create your wants. Usually you are fulfilling your need for food by having rice or bread or like that. So through that advertisement, the businessman created a want. So that is what mean by can be created. The fourth one is being unlimited. There are different wants that can be used to fulfill a single need. Unlimited. I have explained this earlier as well. For a single need, if we take clothing, there are many ways you can fulfill your need for clothing. One can wear a skirt, a trouser, a sari, a frock. There are lots of ways you can fulfill it. So, wants are unlimited. So, that is the fourth characteristic. The final characteristic is being complex. So, we said that wants are unlimited. There are a vast number of wants and they are diverse and there are different number of options. There are different ways we can fulfill these needs. So because of this unlimited and diverse nature, the fulfillment, people cannot decide which one we have to choose. So the fulfillment of these wants are also complex. So these are the 5 basic characteristics of wants. I hope you understood. Okay, now we are moving to a topic which has been frequently asked in your exams. The differences between needs and wants. So if you are asked this question in your exam, it's better if you could use a table to explain this. So I have explained to you the characteristics of needs and wants separately. So we are explaining the differences using those characteristics. Okay. So for needs we said they are essential and wants they are not essential. Needs being common but wants they are diverse. Needs cannot be created but wants can be created, and the needs are limited. But what about wants? They are unlimited. And finally, our needs are simple. There are few. But wants, they are very complex. So this is how you have to differentiate or contrast between needs and wants. Okay, now we are moving into another topic, business concept. This is also a very important part, so pay a good attention to this. Okay, if we consider the early ages like Stone Age, how did the people satisfy their needs? Yes, they have engaged in hunting to satisfy their need for food. And they have used leaves to cover themselves to satisfy their need for clothing. They have used very basic methods. Why? Because they had very simple or minimalistic needs. And when the people become a little bit more civilized, they started doing farming and different agricultural activities to fulfill their needs. So that situation or those activities we called as a self-sufficient economy. So what is a self-sufficient economy? When people started doing activities by themselves to satisfy their needs, we call it as a self-sufficient economy. But with the human development, the needs of the people began to widen. So when the people have different diverse needs, it was unable for them to fulfill those by themselves. So what happened was people started to produce goods which they can produce best. So at that point, they were specializing in producing things which they can produce at their best skill. So they had excess goods. So they thought of exchanging these excess goods with others to obtain the different goods they needed. So this system of exchanging goods is known as the barter system. So when we consider the modern society, there are different people producing different products and services. So the concept of business has become very crucial here. So let's see what is this business concept. When we consider people, they have needs. So they have needs from their birth to death. So they need goods and services to fulfill these needs. So who are going to fulfill these needs? How are they going to fulfill these needs? Yes, it is the businesses. Businesses produce and distribute the goods and services needed for the fulfillment of human needs and wants. So what is meant by a business? A business is an economic activity which provide different goods and services to fulfill human needs. Businesses are the establishments that are providing different goods and services. So, if we take a business, they have different sort of objectives. There are several businesses who are profit oriented. There are several businesses who are not profit oriented. So, we are going to talk about these business orientations or the business objectives later on in this video. So, if we consider the present businesses, they are mostly technologically enabled ones. Also, if we take the payments, the transactions, they are all almost taking part as electronically. So, it has been easy for the today's businesses to connect with the customers and to offer customized products and services. So, this is known as the concept of business. So, with this explanation, I hope you have a better understanding how the self-sufficient economy evolved through the barter system into the concept of business. Okay, now we are moving on to another important part under this chapter. It is business objectives. So, what are business objectives? So, if we take a business, there are different interested parties to a business. We call them as stakeholders. So, who are these stakeholders? For example, we can take managers, employees, customers, government, suppliers. So, these are the parties, we call them as stakeholders. So, these parties expect things from a business. For example, if we take, you are a consumer, you are consuming goods. So, as a consumer, what could be your objective? If you think, yes, as a consumer, my objective is to obtain a quality product at a reasonable price to satisfy a particular need. That is what would be my objective as a consumer. So, a business has specific objective or a set of objectives to fulfill or satisfy these objectives of the stakeholders. So, what is this so-called objective? So, simply, an objective is a long-term goal of an organization. What is an organization going to achieve in the long term? That is what we call an objective. So, there are different types of objectives for which a business is initiated. So as you can see in this slide, I have highlighted two objectives as common objectives. Why do we call this as common objectives? Let's see. The first one is earning profits. So why is this a common objective? If we take any business, whether it could be small scale, medium scale, large scale, it could be operating in any field, each and every business is starting to earn profits, to get some profits. So a business is focused on getting a good revenue. So this is an essential objective for a business. Why is that? If we take the owners of the business, they make some sort of maybe a small, maybe a large investment to start the business, to initiate the business. Therefore, they are expecting a sufficient return for that. So, any type of business, each and every business, they are starting with the aim of earning profit. Of course, there are several businesses like non-governmental organizations, NGOs, they are operating for consumer welfare. But most of the time, each and every business is focused on earning profits. So this is called a common objective of businesses. The second one is increasing customer satisfaction. What does this mean? So if we take a consumer is considered as the king of a business. Why is that? Consumers are the people, you and me. We are consumers. So consumers are the people who are buying goods and services from a business. Okay. So if there are no any consumers or customers to buy products, what will happen? Our business will collapse. So we consider customer as the king. Customer's opinion is the right. So the survival of an organization depends on the customers. How you have satisfied the customers. If you satisfy the customers more and more, they will buy your products more often. They will come to your business more often. So that will decide how your organization is going to be in the market. How your organization is going to survive, develop, grow in the market. So that is why we call increasing customer satisfaction as a common objective of every organization. I hope you understood these common objectives. Okay. So other than achieving these objectives, there are several other objectives of businesses as well. There are lots of business objectives. I have taken only 5 objectives here. So the third objective will be to increase the quality of goods and services. What does this mean? Suppose there are customers. Those are the people who are buying products from you. So they are buying products in order to fulfill their needs and wants. So, but suppose you are providing low quality products and your price is similar to those of your competitors. What will happen? If your product quality is low, will the customers come back to you? Will they come and buy the low quality products? No. There are lots of competitors in the market as well. They will go to those competitors. They will buy other products if your product is of low quality. So, the businesses should always try to increase and provide quality goods to the customers. So, increasing the quality of goods and services has also become a business objective. Okay, so that is what that does mean. Okay, and another objective is generating employment opportunities. So what is this? This is also an important objective, generating employment opportunities. If we take a business, it has lots of people employed, from the lower level laborers to the top level managers. If you are starting a business, that means you are generating lots of employment opportunities. So when a business is initiating, a main business objective is to create employment opportunities. So it will not only benefit your organization, not only benefit the people who are involved in this, not only the employers and employees, but also it will benefit the whole society. So it is also a main business objective. So finally, we are talking about employee welfare. So what is this employee welfare? Like, if we take the employees in an organization are usually receiving a salary or a wage for their job, for their performance within the organization. But in the modern organizations as well as in the past, organizations tend to provide different other benefits to the employees other than the salary and the wage. At present, most of these benefits are included in their allowances, as their allowances. Like these facilities we can call as food, accommodation facilities, transportation facilities, medical facilities. These facilities are the welfare facilities which are provided by the organizations. So some organizations are providing insurance like that. So providing these welfare facilities has also become an important business objective at present. So these are the 5 business objectives we are discussing in this section. What are those? Earning profits, increasing customer satisfaction, increasing the quality of goods and services, generating employment opportunities, and employee welfare. So I hope you got a better understanding about these 5 business objectives. Okay, up to now we have completed discussing about 3 main parts under this chapter. What are those? Consumer needs and wants, business concept, and business objectives. Now we are moving on to another important part of this chapter, goods and services. So what are goods? Tangible and physically existing things which can be used to fulfill human needs and wants are known as goods. So here, tangible and physically existing. These are the 2 most important words in this definition. What do you mean by tangible? Tangible means we can touch. So goods we can touch. And physically existing. Physically existing means we can see. There is a physical existence of this particular thing. So if we take an example, food, a loaf of bread. It is tangible, we can touch. And there is a physical existence. We can see it. It has a weight. That is what we meant by physical existence. So if it is a good, it is tangible and physically existing. So several examples are like food, vehicles, clothing. So these are the things we call as goods. So I think you got a good understanding. Now we'll see what is meant by a service. Any activity or a process rendered to consumers by a business in order to fulfill their needs and wants are known as services. So earlier we discussed about goods. We said goods are tangible and they have a physical existence. But when we consider about services, they exhibit the characteristics opposite to the goods. That means the services are not tangible. We can't touch them. And they do not have a physical existence. We can't see, we can't measure like that. Let me explain this by using an example. If we take a teacher, the teacher is giving you knowledge, teaching you, giving you advices. You are the student. So the process of providing knowledge, advices, teaching to the students in order to fulfill the need for education. So that is a service. Teaching provided by a teacher is a service. Let's take another example. If we take a doctor is providing you medicine, giving you counseling, giving you good health advices. So that is an activity done by a doctor to a patient. And he is doing that to fulfill your need for health. So that process is a service. So this is what simply meant by a service. I hope you all understood. Then we are moving on to an important part under goods and services. So I have explained to you about goods and services earlier to make it easy for you to understand this part. So if we take businesses, we can categorize them based on the nature of the products they are offering. So that means, we have talked about goods, or we call them as commodities, and we talk about services. So we can categorize these manufacturing businesses into two categories: commodity manufacturing businesses and service providing businesses. I will explain this to you one by one. So first we will see about commodity manufacturing businesses. Like I explained earlier, tangible and physically existing things are known as goods or commodities. So the businesses or the organizations which are producing these goods or the commodities are known as commodity manufacturing businesses. So in order to fulfill human needs and wants, the businesses are producing commodities. So these manufacturing businesses, they are producing a wide range of products or a variety of different products in order to satisfy even a single need. So if we take a business, they are producing products by considering the taste of the consumers. That means they search what are the preferences of the consumers. What do the consumers expect from us? What do the consumers like to have? So based on the taste of the consumers, they produce product. And based on the income level, they consider what are the things high income people are looking for. What are the things middle income people looking for? What are the things low income people are looking for? So based on the income level, they are offering products. And also based on the social status. For high class people, they are offering high class luxurious products. And for middle class people, they are offering some middle range products. And for the low class people, they are offering low range, affordable products. So based on these factors, these manufacturing organizations, these manufacturing businesses provide commodities. So for example, if we take a bakery, they are producing different bakery items, like if we take bread, different types of buns. So these are goods. They are tangible. They have a physical existence, like that. If we take garments, they produce clothing. They are tangible as well as they are having a physical existence. So if we take clothing or a particular clothing, they are based on the consumer preferences. Some may prefer frocks, some may prefer t-shirts, some may prefer saris. So different varieties are available to satisfy the need for clothing. And also there are high class brands of clothing, and there are several other local small brands. So based on the income level, based on the social status also, these commodities are categorized. And also automobiles, if we take, there are very high branded automobiles, and also there are automobiles which are affordable to middle class and low income people, like that. So this is the simple explanation of commodity manufacturing businesses. So now let's move on to service providing businesses. So what is this service providing business? So we said a service is an activity or a process which is rendered to the consumers to fulfill their needs and more. It is a service. So several businesses are there who are providing services to the customers. So those businesses are known as the service providing businesses. For example, if we take retail businesses, they are providing services. If we take a banking institution, if we take a bank, they are providing different types of services to you. They are providing different savings options. They are providing different loans options. They are providing bonding options. And also there are advisory banks, like that. Different services are providing. So if we take a beauty salon, they are providing different types of services to you, like that, for your hair, for your face and all that. So these are the things we call as service providing businesses. So with these explanations, I hope you have a better understanding about these commodity manufacturing businesses and the service providing businesses. Okay guys, so we have come to the end of part 1 of your grade 10 first lesson. So we'll meet you soon on a new video covering the part 2 of your first lesson.